everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun crafty things that we have going on. Today's video is going to be all about our little Cricut Joy. We're going to use the Cricut Joy Foil transfer kit to make a fun card using the cutaway cards. We're actually going to use a card that was not designed for a cutaway card, but we're going to turn it into one, and it's really easy to do, so I can't wait to show you how to do this. These come out really pretty and they're super easy to do, so let's get started.
Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun.
In Design Space, when using your Joy, the one thing that I know I've messed up on many times, because obviously I have other machines, is I do tend to forget to change my machine up here to Joy. So I've done that already. Now, I'm going to use a pre-made card from them for this because I think it's just super fun. And I'm going to show you how to use the cutaway cards with some of their regular card designs. So what I'm going to do is open up the projects, and I'm going to go up to where it says all categories, and I'm going to choose cards. Now, it's going to bring up all of their different card designs. They have so many cute ones, but because I want to use the foil transfer kit for the Joy, as well as kind of showing you how to use the different cards with the cutaway cards, we're going to go ahead and do this cute little fishy one. So I'm going to show you guys how to set this up. The first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and choose the word customize. Once the card has loaded over into your Design Space canvas, we're going to do a couple of things so that we can kind of get rid of these little lines. We don't need them. They are just like extras. So if you were using the regular cards, the ones that are not called cutaway cards, those are so that you can put your insert card behind everything. But because I want to do this with the cutaway card, I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing that we're going to do is down in the lower right, click detach. Once you've done that, you can select the part here that's blue with the bubbles and choose the word contour. Once it loads on your contour screen, you're going to see that it shows you all the different parts. You just want to click on these little scalloped pieces, and that's going to hide them from view. Now, I do want to add just a couple little bubbles so that it sort of evens out the image. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to shapes, and I'm just going to open a circle. Now it's going to be really big, so we will need to size it down so that it matches our bubbles a little bit better. You can do small bubble, big bubble, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to put a bubble here. I'm going to duplicate this bubble. I want to put one down in this lower corner. I'm going to duplicate my bubble again, and I want to add one up towards the top. This is just, again, to even it out, and you can change the size of your bubbles if you want them to be different sizes. But I just think that's going to give us a little bit more of like an even look since we removed those little dots. Now what I want to do is select these bubbles that I've made, these gray ones, and select the blue basic cut, which is all our other bubbles, and I'm going to just go ahead and weld those. What that's going to do is create one single piece so that the bubbles all stay held together. I just think it just kind of evened it out better, made it look a little less round. You don't have to do that, but you can. You can add your own types of things to these, however you want to. Now I'm going to select my design and just take a look and make sure that it will fit within my card size. The cards that we're using are 4.25 by 5.5. So we can actually make this a little bit bigger if we would like to, just so that it covers up a little bit more of the design. It's really up to you and how you want to do it. Now, the little fishies and the seashells are the foil. You could do this with the pen as well if you don't have the foil transfer kit. If you want to change this so that it does work with the pen, simply select the fish and the starfish and the little shells. Up here under operation, just go ahead and change this to pen. That's then going to just draw out your design instead of using the foil transfer kit. But we do want to use foil, but that's just an option if you don't already own that. Now, it doesn't matter what color this is at all. 100%, you can put any color foil that you want to. It does not matter. It doesn't know the difference. But I am going to go ahead and select both pieces, and I do want to make sure that I attach them. By attaching them, it tells Design Space not to take them apart from each other so that everything stays lined up. The next thing that we need to do is click Make It. Now over here on our Make It screen, it is not going to give us a whole lot to really go off of, but This is our card mat, and you can see here that you can choose your material type load. So if you just wanted to put this like on a picture, like on a piece of paper, you can do that by just selecting on mat. But I want to make sure that this knows that I'm doing this on the card mat, and I want to make sure that I choose the material size. Now, it did originally default to this larger size, so this is something you need to check. Make sure that this is set to the correct size of the card that you're using. If it's not going to be centered on your card. And I've noticed that it does that sometimes. So just make sure that you double check that, especially if you're using a card that was not originally made for the cutaway cards. So this looks pretty good. I think we are ready to go. All I need to do now is simply click continue. It's going to take a moment to communicate with our Joy, which is already plugged in and turned on. Now you'll see here that it really only gives us certain things that we can choose from because it's using the card mat. It does not, however, know that it's using a cutaway card. So what I'm going to do is click Browse All Materials, and I'm going to select this one that's cutaway card and backer. That way it knows that it's actually using a cutaway card and not the original set of cards that it was meant for. Now you'll see here that it does tell us some directions on what to do next. So you see here that it wants us to load our foil transfer tool into the clamp. It wants us to tape gold foil, which we're not going to use. We'll use a different color. It wants us to tape it shiny side up onto the base material, and then it wants us to load the mat into the machine. I'm going to show you how simple it is to put your foil on to your card, and we are going to get ready to get this all foiled and then cut out. So let's head over to the machine. Now, we've peeled off the backing from our card. So you'll see right here, you can see where it's shiny. That's your adhesive section of the card. Then you want to take your backer piece and you want to put it color side down onto this shiny material. And this is the sticker that's going to hold your card backer in place. Make sure you get that well pressed down. And you'll see now that all you have is just a plain looking card. We're going to get our Cricut card mat here. This is the Joy card mat. And you want to make sure that when you load this, that this backer side is on the outside of your card mat. So your card mat kind of has like a slot to slide the card into. Put it all the way up to the top. Go ahead and press this down. You want to make sure that this is very well held down, especially since I found that the card mat does not tend to stay very sticky. I found mine lost a lot of its stick really, really quickly. Our next step is to tape our foil down. Now, I do like to do that once this is on the mat. I just find it gives us a little bit more stability. So I have these little foil sheets, and I have some tape that was provided by Cricut. Now, I will say, I find their tape a little too sticky, but we're going to just deal with it for this, so it'll be okay. Now, I might need to trim this down just a smidge, but I think I can make it work if I just trim a little bit off, because you don't want it to get onto the sticky part of your mat. You can tape it down to your mat, but you don't want the foil to touch the sticky portion of your mat. That's kind of important because this is adhesive-y. So like if you touch this with tape or something, this foil will come off. So I just like to make sure that I get it pretty well kind of trimmed down. So you see now that I have it trimmed down to fit. I'm going to get this one out of the way. What you want to do is take some tape, and I just use the stuff provided by Cricut. And I'm going to turn this a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. But what I'm going to do is take the edge, put the tape on the edge of the foil. I want to make sure the foil's lined up on my card, and then I'm going to press this down. I want to grab another piece of tape, and I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. It's okay that this is taped to the mat. The mat is okay to have the tape on it, just not the foil. I'm going to pull this really tight so that it's holding it down really well. You can see how it's not like wrinkly. It's pretty smooth. You want to tape down all the sides of your foil and do the same thing where you kind of put the tape down onto the foil and then pull it tight across the design. So you want to make sure that you have this really well held down. That's probably the most important part of the foiling process, is making sure that your foil is well onto your piece. Now we get to load this into the machine and put the foil tool in. The first thing I want to show you is the tool itself. So you have the housing, and then that little rod is the part that goes inside. So this is actually the foiling tip. Just like when you load your regular blade, you just sort of drop it in there, and it's magnetic, so it holds it in. Then what you want to do is open up your clamp here that holds your little fine point blade and set that to the side. Drop in your new foil tool, close up the clamp, and you're ready to go with the tool. Now we're ready to load the Joy, and the Joy senses your mat, so just go ahead and place it in there and it'll sense that it's there. It'll pull your mat in, and my Cricut was too close to the back, that's okay. We'll just scoot it up a little bit, and what it's going to do now is it will go ahead and foil once I hit go over on the computer. Once it's done foiling, there's two things that you need to do next. The first one, super important, is change out your blade. You want to make sure that you do put your fine point blade that came with the machine back in there. Then you want to make sure that you take off your foil. Now you will have seen me kind of press the foil back down. This one came a little bit loose, this piece of tape, so I did press it back down just to make sure that it was, going to stay on there. But you do want to make sure that you take your foil off. Now this can be a little tricky because you do kind of have to wiggle it under your tool. So you can just kind of use your finger to get it started, and then usually you can kind of pop it off just like that. Now it is a little hard to see, I'm sure, from your angle, but don't worry, it'll be fine. And I have to go hit go to let it know that we changed the tool. Once it's done, you'll need to go over to your computer and tell it to unload. Now that we're finished, we can go ahead and pull out our card mat. Now again, I think the foil might be a little, oh no, it's really easy to see. Look how pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and get this weeded off. Now again, if you've watched my other cutaway card video, I did find that leaving it on the mat really did help. And using tweezers seemed to work best for me when weeding, but I did find that weeding these was really pretty difficult. They're pretty sticky and they don't cut great, but they're still pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you this one that I just pulled out. See that little dot? It's so fun. So let me go ahead and get the rest of our bubbles out, and then I'll show you what the card looks like all finished. Here is the finished card. I think it came out really, really cute. This was super easy to do, and you saw that we could use any of the cards that they have designed. Now again, you can use your own designs as well, but don't think just because it's not technically made for a cutaway card doesn't mean you can't. And what I love is that you can use the new foil transfer kit on this. I don't think a lot of people realize it's available for the Joy, so it's one of those fun little things that you can add to your machine so that it can do a few more things than just cut vinyl and cardstock. I think this is super fun, super cute, and a really easy way to make your own customized cards. Plus, look at how shiny. You know me, I love anything that's shiny and glittery, so this speaks to me. If you guys have any questions about this or any of the other things that you want to know how to do or make, please let me know in those comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Just hit that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free to join me here on our crafty journey. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting!